Peace, love, and light to the family. Ordained Metaphysical Minister Coleman reporting live. This is Chapter 2, Part 2 of Astrology 101. Once again, we're talking about the chakras. Once again, we're talking about your psycho-spiritual powers. So for the ones who took the time to watch Chapter 1, Part 1, first and foremost, thank you so much. We're going to go straight into Chapter 2. So if you haven't seen Chapter 1, I advise you to tune in. A lot of great information was dropped. A lot of gems were dropped in Chapter 1. To my family who's ready to go right into Chapter 2, thank you once again for your patience. Not going to hold too much time. You are now rocking with the Cosmic Christ University. You are tuned in right now to the Ordained Metaphysical Minister. That's me, Corbin, reporting live. And as always, family, if you love what you're hearing, hit the like button. If you love what you're hearing, come on in and roll. Like I said, we're going to get right straight to it. Part 2, Astrology 101. The chakras and your psycho-spiritual powers. Let's go. There are many ways to chart our spiritual growth. The author says, for me, the combination of the chakras with the symbolic language of the Christian sacraments and the Kabbalistic tradition has proven to be the most useful. Certain truths are universal in all spiritual traditions. Once again, certain truths are universal in all spiritual traditions. For example, all spiritual systems teach respect for life and personal energy. Can we agree on that, no matter what your religion is? Let's hear that again. Certain truths are universal in all spiritual traditions. For example, all spiritual systems teach respect for life and personal energy, and that murder and stealing are wrong. But the Hindu, Christian, and Jewish spiritual traditions in particular have parallels even greater than these very broad ones. To a remarkable extent, the 7 chakras correspond to the symbol systems of the Christian sacraments and the tree of life. Everybody's thinking that you is different because of your religion, or you're different because of your culture. Each religion, no matter what you believe, when you boil it all down, really just teaches the same things, the same laws and principles, if you think about it. So let's read that again. Certain truths are universal in all spiritual traditions, family. For example, all spiritual systems teach respect for life and personal energy, and that murder and stealing are wrong. But the Hindu, Christian, and Jewish spiritual traditions in particular have parallels even greater than these very broad ones. To a remarkable extent, the 7 chakras correspond to the symbol systems of the Christian sacraments and the tree of life, so that taken together, they constitute a journey of spiritual development. Now, I want to take a quick water break, and I want you to think about that. Now, to my Christian family out there watching, thank you for watching. To my theologians and people in the congregation who took the time to watch, how many of you knew that the 7, I said this in chapter 1 as well, how many of you know out there that the 7 churches in your Bible, Philadelphia being one of them, there's of course a couple more, but Philadelphia always sticks out. Those 7 churches represent the 7 chakras, those 7 wheels that are within your body. Did you know that? Did you know your whole life, each stage, your connection with the zodiacs, all that is all about your spiritual growth? A lot of you watching out there thinking that all you do is just go to work, come home, raise kids, be in a relationship, and it's all. That's it, and it's on repeat. That's true to a certain extent. If that's all you see for yourself in life, then best believe, so a man thinketh, so he is. And I'm paraphrasing, as a man thinking, so he is. So if you think that's all there is in your life, then guess what? You are right, and that's what you're going to get. But if you know in your heart, and some of you do watching this, that you are spiritual since birth, since you were toddlers, you knew that you were spiritually different. Like something about this planet, this atmosphere, this earthly setting didn't really sit all the way with you, like you weren't from here. And now, day by day, you're getting more confirmation. So We're about to go back in. I just wanted you to think about that right quick. Did you know the 7 churches that are in the Bible, the 7 churches that they talk about, are your 7 chakras? Let's keep on going. Easiest to see in the correspondence between the 7 chakras and the 7 Christian sacraments. That's SACRAMENTS. Let's read that again. Easiest to see is the correspondence between the 7 chakras and the 7 Christian sacraments. When the sacraments are lined up in a certain order, baptism first, then communion, confirmation, marriage, confession, ordination, and extreme unction, and that's UNCTION, which is now called anointing the sick. Their functions remarkably parallel in meaning and power those of the 7 chakras. Although my ordering, the author says, of the sacraments isn't the one that is generally given in the Catholic Church today, it may actually be closer to the order in which the catechumens, CATECHUMENS, it says, of the early church received them. Both systems illustrate in their language the dynamic flow of energy that gives life to the human body. Let's keep on going. Similarly, in the Kabbalistic tradition, the tree of life contains 10 qualities of human nature that we need to cultivate for full spiritual maturity. Family, I just want to make sure that I am doing my due diligence and making sure you understand this. This is your spiritual truth. A lot of you will walk around here once again just thinking you are machines. You're an automation. You wake up, go sleep, that's it. Everything in between is a blur for most of you. This is going to reawaken some of you up to know to stand straight, sit right, and understand that you are divine beings. And now that alarm clock is going off and it's time for you to use your powers. Similarly, in the Kabbalistic tradition, the tree of life contains 10 qualities of human nature that we need to cultivate for full spiritual maturity. Because 6 of the 10 qualities of Sephiroth, that's spelled Sefirot, or Sephiroth, are counterparts of each other. The tree of life actually appears to have 7 levels, as in the other 2 traditions. These 3 traditions thus seem to offer a slightly different but compatible and harmonizing perspective on the same truth. Spirit evolves through 7 distinct stages of power. Spirit evolves through 7 distant stages of power. Now, to my family who's really in tune in this presentation, I thank y'all so much, nothing but love. Whether it was ancient aliens, whether it's just you doing your own research, we have always heard about 7, the number 7, whether it was the 7 stars. I do believe, and I don't want to really go off the presentation too much, but they're like the 7 stars. I'm thinking Pleiades, I'm thinking the 7 sisters, I'm thinking around there. But hit the like button, make a comment if you are with me on that one. And once again, I want to bring that back right quick. And thank you for your patience on this beautiful day. Similarly, in the Kabbalistic traditions, I want to bring it back. I feel like I was a lot comfortable now. Similarly, in the Kabbalistic tradition, the tree of life contains 10 qualities of the human nature that we need to cultivate for full spiritual maturity. Because 6 of the 10 qualities of Sephiroth are counterparts of each other. The tree of life actually appears to have 7 levels, as in other 2 traditions. These 3 traditions thus seem to offer a slightly different but compatible and harmonizing perspective on the same truth. That truth being, at 9 minutes, spirit evolves through 7 distant stages of power. We're talking Kabbalistic. We're talking the Kabbalah here. To my Jewish family, I know you know what I'm talking about, but family, if you don't, this is why I'm here. And last time I told you that you should have the name of the book. If you're going to, make sure I bring it close so you guys can see it, take your time. If you're going to have somebody tell you anything about esoteric or anything about knowledge, make sure they give you the resources always. And the last time, I forgot to do that. So after I show you this picture, I'm going to make sure that I show you. You might hear my stomach growling too. I ain't eat yet, but it's all good. We're going to get this work. You see it, y'all there? Okay, bet. Now, boom. I got y'all. Don't worry. Why people don't heal and how they can heal. Like Caroline Miss, MYSS. Beautiful sister with a lot of beautiful work in here. So shout out to Carolyn wherever you are in the world. But did y'all see that, by the way? I'm going to show it to you one more time before we go in. It's Tree of Life, the Kabbalistic Tree of Life. Christians, if you're thinking, look, Christian, this is still in your field. This is a little bit more higher knowledge once you start going beyond the orthodox teachings. So, are we click? Boom. I want to make sure we got that. You can always rewind the video back. That is the human energy system correspondence. You guys see that? The gradual development of our individual spiritual natures through the course of a single lifetime is mirrored in the historical development of human spirituality over many ages. That was a lot, I know. But I'm your brother. It's my job to make sure that we're on the same page. The gradual family at 10, 11 minutes. At 11 minutes, family, I want to make sure that you understand. It's a Sunday, by the way. I want you to understand and make sure that you understand that you are spiritually that person, that you are the one. The gradual development of our individual spiritual natures through the course of a single lifetime is mirrored in the historical development of human spirituality over many ages. According to an accepted principle, of biological evolution, every so often a species makes a quantum leap in its development. Shout out to my TikTok family. I'm going to read that again so you know it's not a game. The gradual development of that means me and you, whether you want to claim it or not, the gradual development of our individual spiritual natures through the course of a single lifetime is mirrored in the historical development of human spirituality over many ages. According to an accepted principle of biological evolution, every so often a species makes a quantum leap. We are in the age of quantum physics, string theory, the quantum world, quantum mechanics, metaphysics, you name it. We are here at 2025 and beyond. Let's keep on going. According to an accepted principle of biological evolution, every so often a species makes a quantum leap in its development. The author says, Mrs. Carolyn says, I believe that several times in the last 4 or 5,000 years, an equivalent evolutionary leap has happened to humanity on a psycho-spiritual level. I want us to focus on that word today, family watching. Psycho-spiritual level. I'm going to read that again and I'm going to throw some names at you to research if you have not researched that, because this is the Cosmic Christ University, my beautiful family. This is the Cosmic Christ University. So if you're watching this, then you know we are not here to play. We are here to elevate the mind so they can awaken them back to their gods and goddess state. If you are thinking this is a game, then please hold off. GTA 6 is almost here, and you can play all the games you want then. Let's get back here. Now, I'll read that again. Because I want to make sure you are knowing who you are. Not guessing, not waiting for any type of scientist to tell you who you are or what's coming from out in through the skies in the world, Antarctica, beyond. You now know this if you cherish it. Once again, according to an accepted principle of biological evolution, every so often a species makes a quantum leap in its development. Once again, Miss Carolyn says, I believe I believe that several times in the last 4,000 or 5,000 years, an equivalent evolutionary leap has happened to humanity on a psycho-spiritual level. Since my theory about the development of the chakras is based on intuition rather than on probable scientific fact, however, it may be easier for you to think of them as a metaphor for human spiritual evolution. Furthermore, as we prepare to enter the next millennium, I believe we are in the midst of yet another huge jump forward in our spiritual progress. Now at 15 minutes, because once again, my students, my masters are already in tune with me as I am with them. Now, let's focus on psycho-spiritual. Let's focus on what the amazing Mrs. Caroline said. She said, I believe that several times in the last 4,000 or 5,000 years, an equivalent evolutionary leap has happened to humanity on a psycho-spiritual level. I want to first start with my brother, your brother, the master teacher, Yeshua, the one they know in church as Jesus. I want to say this. With Yeshua, excuse the stomach, like I said, I'm about to grub after this. What Yeshua brought was God body. He showed you that in human form, you can be much more than you thought you could be. It was an impulse. When he left, when that sacrifice was made by Yeshua for us, he left us with an impulse, something called a Christ impulse. Look it up. IMPULSE. I'm going to sit back, calm down a little bit, and look straight at you because this is very important. My Orthodox family and church, you have only been told one story about Christ. There's a whole nother story about that brother that goes beyond. We got to go to France, and I mean literally, we got to go France to holler at our ancestors, our descendants, our family, the predecessors down there, the Cathars. We really, all of us, and we're going to do that soon. I promise you that. We're going to head to France. But Christ left each and every one of us with the impulse. There was also an impulse that came after Christ that tried to impose everything, all the work that Christ did. That impulse is also in this planet and running rapid. So, Yeshua. If you guys have heard of Sigmund Freud, let's continue researching him. We're going to need his work more now than ever. Once again, Sigmund Freud. If you have a pen and pad, I'm going to try to spell it off a freestyle, but Sigmund is like Sigumund. Freud, Fireud. He's one. When it's time to break down the interpretation of dreams and going within your mind. A second one is, no disrespect to Freud, but is even a greater one by the name of Carl Jung. Carl Jung, a psychoanalyst and so much more. He tells you about the archetypes and the divine beings within your, not just brain, but the power of your mind. These beings, these diva, these spiritual archetypes that govern your mind if you don't have the power to govern your own mind. This goes deep with you. So when the author says psycho-spiritual power, she's talking about an impulse, IMPULSE, that comes at a certain time in a certain astrological age or epoch that hits through our body, through our mind. That's why Christ was saying the kingdom of heaven is within, because once you are tuned in your body and there's not no toxic stuff going in or coming out you, then you can align to this impulse that is by birthright your Christ impulse. Are you guys with me at 19 minutes? This is very serious. So Sigmund Freud, Carl Jung, to my melanated people. Because for us to say this is not about race while racism is still going on, to us to say it's not that serious, for a certain group of people to say you guys complain too much about racism, is to not acknowledge what first has been done to many people, not just one race, but many indigenous aboriginal races before you can even say that nonsense that just comes out your mouth about this. Because let me tell you now, family, my next presentation is going to be serious. It's going to be life-changing. Whether we're talking about Columbus, who was with Columbus, who was there when Columbus went to America, King Solomon, we're going to have some heavy talk. So when it comes to Yeshua, his connection to Ethiopia, King Solomon connection, Queen Sheba, when it comes to that talk, us, not just as Americans, but people around the world have to come and realize that every race has been discriminated, and there has been a race that has discriminated on multiple other races because they are a younger race, and they know that the races that they discriminate or they try to torture spiritually and psycho-spiritually are the ones who were here first, the ones that gave them the knowledge to live an abundant life. They chose to go against those people and create war because they knew that they were children of God. So let's get back to the presentation. I thank you. I thank you for your patience. Yep. That's the stomach. We ain't got too much long tummy. Once again, since my theory about the development of the chakras is based on intuition rather than on probable scientific facts, however, it may be easier for you to think of them as a metaphor for human spiritual evolution. Furthermore, as we prepare to enter the next millennium, I believe we are in the midst, the author says, of a yet another huge jump forward into our spiritual progress. Keep the word impulse and research Christ's impulse when you get a chance. In my study, the author says, in my study of Christian scripture over the years, I had occasionally come across astrological symbolism, exemplified most dramatically by the statement in the New Testament that three kings followed a star in the heavens as their sign that a new birth and a great significance has taken place on the earth. Now, I'm going to take this time to get me a drink of water. Feel like Eminem on 8 Mile. The ribs is touching. Mama spaghetti. But we're going to get to it. In my study of Christian scripture, the author says, over the years, I had occasionally come across astrological symbolism exemplified most dramatically by the statement in the New Testament that three kings followed a star in the heavens as their sign that a new birth and a great significance had taken place on the earth. As a long-time admirer of the spiritual language and lessons of astrology, I began to explore the interface and began to see a correlation between the beginning of the traditional astrological ages and the appearance of new spiritual ideas in human consciousness. As each astrological age unfolded, the author says itself, as each astrological age unfolded itself, I want to read that one more again. As each astrological age unfolded itself, new spiritual teachings reshaped our understanding of ourselves, the nature of God and the world, and our place in it. So what's about to happen 24 minutes going in is, family, we have reached yet another epoch. We have reached yet another spiritual stairway that has taken us up, up, up. We have left the 3D world. We have left third density. We are now 4th, 5th, 6th density here. 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th dimensions we are talking about. For some of you, you're stuck. If you choose to be stuck, don't worry about it. The choice is yours. But for those ones who are watching and knew that you were always greater from young, from watching the Captain Planet, the X-Men, the Star Wars, you know where I'm at, the Ninja Turtles, and you just knew at that age that you were just something more. Yes, to you I'm talking to. This is graduation for all of us. And if you kept that Christ knowing in your heart, knowing that within you was a divine power and you always knew it and never doubt yourself, then guess what's about to happen to you? And don't be scared, family, to leave a comment. Hit the like button. Um, Leave a comment no matter how you feel. If you got questions and you're confused, listen. My job as an ordained minister is help you the best way I can. I got one family on here, back and forth, back and forth. If you got questions, then best believe I got answers. I'm gonna help the best way I can. That's family. That's what family do. We may have grown together as family, but best believe we are a spiritual family coming from the cosmic Christ. So don't ever feel alone. If you got questions, just know you can ask them here, is what I'm trying to tell you. As each astrological age unfolds itself, new spiritual teachings reshape our understanding of ourselves, the nature of God and the world, and our place in it. These new patterns of thought become the sources of inspiration behind all cultural changes, redirecting every conscious and unconscious social impulse, there's that word again, that is a part of the collective life force. This astrological historical context for the emergence of spiritual truths may enhance your understanding of your spiritual journey and your capacity to heal yourself in your life. I'm gonna run that back again, but I felt myself doing the Donald Trump. Certain songs I might be in the store, I might do that at Donald Trump. I don't care where I'm at. Walmart, certain song come on, Dollar Tree, the mall, it don't matter. Let's hear this again. This astrological historical context for the emergence of spiritual truths may enhance your family, your understanding of your own spiritual journey and your capacity to heal yourself and your life. If you didn't think or know you can heal yourself, guess what? The cat's out the bag. You can. Astrological ages are 2,000 year cycles. 27 minutes. Hit the like button if you love this. Hit the like button if this is reaching your cerebellum, your brain. It's hitting your pineal gland. It's awakening the third eye. Declassification, going down, chakras lining up, all that good stuff is going down now. No elevators. I'll read this again. Maybe it'd be an hour, maybe it'd be cheaper. Maybe it'd be an hour, maybe it'd be shorter. But this is priceless. Cheaper. Astrological ages are 2,000 year cycles. When was the last time that Christ was here, guys? The one you call Jesus. When was the last time that he was here? Now, if you do your research, you would know that it was 2,000 years ago, about around 2,150 years ago to be exact. Before that, you had Krishna. You had other people, other ascending masters, other mystics that came whenever civilization was at its peak in time for astrological graduation. They came to remind you when your conscience was low that you were greater spiritually and it's time to awaken. That's what Christ, the one you call Jesus, his mama named Yeshua. So respectfully, we put respect on his name and also call him Yeshua. Every 2,000 years, there's a spiritual graduation. And guess what, guys? Now we are due for ours. This is what's going on. This is why Trump can go in the White House and say we are preparing, entering a golden age. Because if you understand astrology, my beautiful family, then you see we are headed towards the age of Aquarius. We are still now leaving the outskirts of the Pisces. And because of that, you're getting a lot of Pisces and Aquarian energy. A lot of you know this already. Hit the like button if you do. So, going on 30 minutes. Going on 30 minutes. I need you to understand this is the whole thesis of the whole thing. That you are more than just waking up, having something stress about your mind before you even grab your phone. You are more than just going to a job every day, feeling like you're a robot. No. Once you say, hey, I had enough, I know there is more, and you start that journey, that's when you start to realize things like this. That's why a lot of people who maybe watch this are kind of confused because they have no idea what this is mean. Like, what are you talking about here? Like, what? There's a power within me? Like, well, who's God? Well, God is within you. God is you. Through your connection of Christ, knowing that there's a divine energy. Once you know that, then you awaken the Kundalini. But all chakras must be balanced before you do that. Then wheels must be keep on turning. That's what it is. But God is a divine mind. If you really want to know what God is and who God is the divine mind. Whether you call him the source, the creator, the great architect, whatever you want to call God, he is the divine mind. Once again, God is divine mind. So, what is your connection to God, you may ask? Well, you are the co-creator. You are the mind here. You have a partnership with God. God is so great that you cannot, I don't care how smart you think you cannot put a label on God because God is. He's always isn't. And even me saying he still limits him because there are divine masculine and divine feminine qualities to God. We're talking magnetism. We're talking like electricity. We're talking that deep. So if you limit God with just your thought, aren't wrong. If you limit God with just the sex, aren't you're wrong. So your connection with God, once again, before I go back in, is God is the divine mind who created all this. That's why you're going to have to re-evaluate what good and evil is, what duality is, because we are leaving duality and we're re-entering a stage of unity. And that's God, because God is all, God is good. Think about this, and we're going to go back in the presentation. I might stop it here. Then we can go ahead with part 3 if you guys have been liking this. But I realize the shorter, the better, Some people, they don't have too much time. They want to get this work, but they got to, they're still in the everyday life. So I totally get that. For the ones who do got that time, I appreciate you. And if you don't, I understand as well. But we're going to end here, and then we'll start on part 3. But I do want to say this again. God, for those who really want to know who God is, you are a co-creator with God. Remember in your Bible, it says, I give you dominion to subdue this planet. You have dominion over all this. But if you think that you are a slave, captivated, then you are. Yeah, you may know the stories about your flesh being trapped in here and you being bound, but that's just your flesh. Within you is something greater. I advise you to look at the Hymn of the Pearl and look at the story of Judas Thomas. I want you to look at the prodigal son story. Look at any story, from Yeshua to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, to Krishna, even Anakin. It all the same. So once again, God is the divine mind. You cannot, I don't care how smart you are, stop thinking you know who God is. It's a is. It's a is. And what I mean by that, stop thinking you can put a limitation on what God is. You can't. Especially not in this physical mind, in this flesh, can we comprehend what God is. Are you kidding me? Even when we're in a spiritual, it's going to take a few levels for us to get there. But here we can understand that she is the divine mind. It is the divine mind. And because we are here, our mind allows us to know that we are and we have a spiritual connection with God. We are co-creators. So while you're on this planet, you get whatever you want to get by lining yourself up with God's laws and principles. Not just by going to church and screaming and talking about each other and doing more singing than learning, doing more singing than researching. There's nothing wrong with singing and praising, of course. But remember, Christ said, go within your secret chamber. A lot of you have too much noise that surround you. And how can you have a commute with God? How you communicate with God? How can you do this When there's too much noise, too much doubt in yourself, too much letting people come inside your life, inside your household, and destroy it without you going quiet in the noise and know that Christ is within you. This is the conversation we need to have, and start worrying about what Sister Jenkins doing, or what Brother Johnson doing, or what Sister Mary doing. We need to stop that and go within. Is this me telling you what to do? No, this is just a little advice. My opinion. You can take it as it is, leave it. Doesn't bother me none. But as an ordained metaphysical minister, meta, higher, beyond, understand it is my job, mission, duty for the ones who do want to know, for them to know that they are greater. So I'm about to wrap this up so we can just, maybe a little bit more people will tune in and get that lesson and get that work and have an understanding for themselves. And for the ones who sit back and watch my videos in the lengths that it are anyway, then you already know. And family, all I'm telling you, especially you that take the time and watch the duration, your powers are here. Let this stuff go. Let this stress, anxiety. Listen, I know what the world is. I see how the world is. But you got to know within you is something greater. You understand? So, with that being said, I'm going to wrap this up. And we're going to, depending on how the people feel, we're going to see you in chapter 3. These new patterns of thought become the sources of inspiration behind all cultural changes, redirecting every conscious and unconscious social impulse that is a part of the collective life force. This astrological historical context for the emergence of spiritual truths may enhance your understanding of your own spiritual journey and your capacity to heal yourself and your life. Astrological ages are 2,000-year cycles in strictly astrological parallels. P-A-R-L-A-N-C-E. Each age begins when the sun, turning the page, here we go, make sure we're right here, turning the page, half turn the page. Each age begins when the sun, at the moment of the spring equinox, enters the 30-degree arc of the sky, identified by the particular sign of the zodiac. The 3 most recent astrological ages are Aries, which ran from about 2000 BC to the birth of Christ. Pisces, the current age, which is just about over, and Aquarius, the age we are now entering, which should extend to around the year 4000. To understand the significance and the challenges of the new era we are entering, we first have to understand where we have come from and where we are today. And listen, chapter 3 is going to be amazing because we're about to visit 3 different ages of our ancestors. Everybody talks about ancestors. So the chapter 3, we're going to be able to step inside of our ancestors' world and see how their mind, how they thought spiritually and their evolution. Remember, Aries, I believe it said Aries, Pisces, which we're leaving now. We're packing up. It's going. It's a wrap. Let's get ready to go. And we're headed to the Aquarian age, which is going to last until the year 4000. So with that being said, I'm not going to carry on too long. I think this is enough. I think you guys gathered enough today. Just know your worth. That's all I ask. Cosmic Christ consciousness. If we do this together as a family, watch what beings come out of nowhere. Once we join together and realize that we are spiritual beings and that a government cannot shut us down, a government cannot hold the people, but that the people follow Christ's word and we love each other, we build each other up, we work in unity. Once we do that, watch what beings come from under the earth, out the skies. Think about this, and I'm going to leave it here. Think about this, and I'm really serious about this now. Think about this, family. I'm your brother. Listen. If we were an advanced race of people, whether we are in the inner worlds or in the cosmos, and we already done this. We already been on planet Earth, and because this is going to happen to us soon, but we already done this. And now there's a younger civilization going through the same things you guys that we've been through. Now, of course, they're going to help us. You're going some that help, some like forget y'all. But there's ones that are here. but they just can't help us at this moment. They're conscious, their levels of thinking is so beyond ours that even for the most part, us just walking up on them, us meeting them, is going to cause a psycho conscrewed for us. What I'm saying is this before I leave. You know places like Telos, Telos, if not research it. You know places like Shambhala, like Mount Shasta in California. You know places like this. Places that our ancestors are actually in these places, these crystal cities. These are real things you can research. It is said that you cannot enter those places with the minds that a lot of people have today. Why not, minister? Because their world, their civilization, their consciousness vibrates on a level so higher than ours. I want you to be honest, and I'm going to end it here. Think about your everyday thoughts. And let's be honest. Let's keep it a buck. Think about your everyday thoughts. All of the thoughts that nobody hears you thinking. Let's be honest here. Think about going into a place like that with your thoughts, your energy. It's going to be a repellent. Are you kidding me? It's like a fly walking in and not even knowing that a whole bunch of humans got bug spray, gang, all coming at once. You are not consciously there yet. So how can you expect it? Is what I'm saying. How can you expect to meet certain people? Have, yes, chosen ones who maybe even by mistake entered that realm, but you have to prepare your mind. We as a people must prepare our mind for the next ascension. If you want greater goods, you have to start in a greater path. If you want abundance, you have to walk in it. This is a learning process for us. If we can learn things like that if we realize our mind is what gives us all the power, and once we align ourselves with God or the universal laws and principles, that is graduation. And then gradually you're going to start seeing the worlds that had to leave because they knew that we wouldn't be able to comprehend them. And it would be vital to them. It would be vital to them to stay away. It would be very, I can't think of the word right now, very bad. Let's just say that. It would be very bad if they would just mingle with us with this type of consciousness. So they choose a few people, the good ones, and then they work with us. So I want to thank you for your patience. I want to thank you for the ones who tuned in and rock with us on the Cosmic Christ, one of the best, greatest universities ever in life. I want you to stay tuned. You don't have to feel alone because you're not. I want you to realize that your power is greater. We're in 2025 and it's about to get even more amazing. Know your worth, appreciate it. Keep God in your mind, your heart, and soul. Align yourself with God's laws and principles and watch the blessings. That's it. That's all. Peace.